10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What's up, everybody? We are back. This is Cult Flick Symposium, and we're here ready to talk about some Lady Snowblood. Such interesting movies. And I say movies because we're also talking about the sequel as well. There was only 2 of them. I still ask myself, Derek, how is there not more of these? They seem like they really had a train of samurai, but like if you had like a successful one, like the first one was, that they would at least run off 3, 4, 5. It felt like it could have been that Lone Wolf and Cub type series where they kept, pushing and pushing it. It is kind of weird that they kind of stopped it at 2, but nevertheless, that's what we're here to talk about today. And I'm excited to, man. I love my samurai flicks. I know fucking Derek does too. I know everybody that's tuning in probably does too. That's why you're here, because we talk about these crazy cult fucking movies. But without further ado, guys and gals, let's talk about it. What's the plot, Derek?
All right. So this is based on a manga, however you pronounce it. I've heard it both ways. I've never personally read or like collected those types of comics. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, I'm not really sure on how to pronounce it, but
me neither.
Very dark, series that a lot of people had to kind of, take breaks from, turn away from it. Just it depicted a lot of really tough things, really well, and obviously very, over the top in an anime style. In this movie, is really no different. And it follows the original series, like really traditional, like really loyally. It's very,
really
kind of like a panel to panel type stuff, like Sin City was like a panel to panel type movie. I've heard this is kind of I don't know how accurate it is, but it's like really close. It's like one of those ones that tried to remain really true. And the plot of the movie is probably going to be really close to the same plot as the comic strips. That's why I went through that. But
that's interesting. I gotta give me some of them, man. I love my comics, but I always think about that, and this would be a perfect place to start, considering I'm a fan of the movies on my little samurai comic binge. So that's cool to know,
dude. Well, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, if I were to start anywhere, I've definitely got to try to find this somewhere. This is it. I'm gonna read this. They said it was disturbing. Oh no, I've got to dive in. Like that's,
what are we doing?
So the plot of this is a strikingly beautiful young woman is trained from birth to be a deadly instrument of revenge against the swindlers who destroyed her family. And like you and I have kind of talked about, this movie's from 1973, so we're not going to really be doing what you would call spoilers per se, but we are going to be talking spoilers. So if you haven't seen this movie and you don't want to know anything more in depth about the actual film or the series, then definitely take a break. But we're
know what you're here for.
Exactly. What I would kind of say, like, the plot of this movie is, you got this woman at the beginning of the film who is R-worded and goes to jail for killing one of the people. There are 4 people initially, so there are 3 left, 3 perpetrators. She goes to jail, sleeps with a lot of prison guards so she can become pregnant to train a young assassin. She wants a son, if I believe right. She says something about wanting a son to train up from birth to go get revenge on the last 3 people, which is a extremely selfish and terrible reason to have a child. But
I'll say,
but she ends up having a daughter, and I'll avoid any other spoilers until we dive into other parts of the film. But this young woman does grow up to have a single track mind to go get revenge for her mother, go out in the world and kill these 3 people and just samurai them up. So we get a lot of really, really just awesome, like anime style live action. Just you don't really get humor, but you get that like chuckle because it's so over the top and awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
On purpose. It's not an accident, so it just makes it all better. And this, it's like it's really like watching an anime in live action. It's fun. But yeah, that's the plot, man.
I agree with
You know,
that.
you had the runtime, things like that. Some of the other specs of the film.
Yeah, just runtime, hour and 37 minutes. I think that's a good little sweet spot for it. Not too short, not too long. Movie year, spoiler alert, while you were talking about spoilers, spoiler alert, 1973. 1 year before the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Damn. Random movie to throw in
Wow.
there, but that's what we do here. Yeah, but this was a weird year, for like just samurai movies, like in general, or just this era, this time. Like, this is like really, I feel like when all the like blood spatter really started to kick in, where like it was over the fucking top, where it was like shooting out, like it was just like, what the fuck is
It's the
going
70s,
on? And
man, the
yeah,
70s.
it was just like red paint almost. So like I feel like a lot of people they look at this and like, okay, this is kind of fucking ridiculous. And even then, some people are just like, okay, that's ridiculous, but that's a product of its time. And there's people like me who are weird. They're just like, that's ridiculous, and I don't even give a fuck if it's a product of its time. It's still fucking cool. I love the fucking blood spray, cartoonish type shit. I know it looks dumb. Maybe it's because like I kind of grew up on it, but like anytime that could be in a movie these days, and I'd be like,
That's the thing.
damn, dude, that looks dope. Like,
Yeah,
like not every fucking movie should have that. I'd be like, all right, this is overkill. But like, Tarantino, obviously, who has roots to this,
Tarantino.
has used
Exactly.
that
I was gonna
because
say,
he loves these kinds of movies.
yeah.
And it worked because like it does work. I think it still works. It's over the top, but you know why it is. I love that about it. And this is right in that era of just like, let the blood fucking spray. I was curious how you felt about that shit. Are you kind of like on the same wavelength as me? Or are you kind of like product of its time? Or you're just like, that the whole thing's just fucking dumb. I can do without it. It's over the top.
So yeah, no, yeah, it's a great question, and one that it seems to divide a lot of people on these types of films. But for
Yeah.
me personally, man, it's almost revolutionary. So like,
Mm-hmm.
it's over the top. It has that 70s feel where like there's a couple things that might happen, or a couple like angles where you get the cheesy factor where you're like, oh god, or like that's not
Yeah.
exactly for the situation. Uh, but first of all, I enjoy the campiness. But even that aside, in a movie that's not trying to be campy, so much as just stylistic, like this one is, like I said, like an anime.
Yeah.
Um, I really,
Works.
I think like you mentioned Tarantino, and another movie that does divide audiences, but that was successful and that does the over stylization is 300, and that Zack Snyder feel.
Yeah.
You get that stylized over the top, that Frank Miller uh, vibe, and I love seeing that in film. And this is one of the first ones I can like time lapse, like go back and say like this is what kind of one of the first films to do that live action, just revolutionary.
Yeah.
And it's hard to see it as anything other than that. It's not really cheesy to me, or over the top, as much as it is just stylized and
Yeah.
like almost ahead of its time in that way.
Yeah. It's really, really cool shit, man. Awards and noms. This is gonna be probably the thing that we could probably cut from the show unless we got like some Razzies or some shit on here. But at the same time, I'm gonna keep it on here for like the day I'm like, there actually is an award. This
I wouldn't be
slasher movie
surprised.
won.
You
It
know, it's funny,
won.
type of film that would win a Razzie, even though
Yeah.
it's not like bad at
Yeah.
all. It's just that type of film. So I could see this being like one that would surprise people, if
Yeah,
that it went like
excessive
after.
blood. Like the one you're pissed off that is on the Razzies. Like, how did that even make the
Exactly.
Razzies?
Yeah. What is
Yeah.
this doing here? I've seen
But
that several.
I'm gonna save it for that, but also that subject for the one time I'm like, we've been doing this for 35 years. If we somehow are some ridiculous shit. Episode 5,542. And this is the first Oscar winner we've had on this show. I know y'all have waited a long time, loyal viewers. Yeah. Who the fuck knows, right? Awards and noms, as expected, nothing. Let's talk about favorite performance in the movie. Who's your favorite performer, actor, actress.
Okay. This one's pretty easy for me. This is
Yeah.
easy. And it's obvious, and you know, and it doesn't always happen this way. In fact, it usually doesn't happen this way, but it's going to be the lead. Um, pretty much. I mean, her performance, and we talked about before we
Woman of
started.
a few words too. It's just all in the stares, dude. You're just like, damn,
It's
I could
the
tell
eye.
it's in her mind.
It's all
Jesus.
in the eyes. You can watch her literally go from that very slight empathy back to revenge in certain scenes, like just from her eyes. And you know, this was somebody who was more of a musician before she got this role, and was, you know, still remained more of a musician even after this. You know, that like she was, you know, that was her primary career path. It wasn't acting, but this role, it was almost like she was born to play this character. And we talked about a little bit on trying not to butcher names on pronunciation. So I'm probably not even
Ooh.
her you know, her birth name, but she plays the character Yuki, and she absolutely just dominates. And fun fact, which I'm sure I don't know if this is going to be trivia or not, but
Maybe.
and this might be the only fun fact I know this entire time, but it just came to mind. But she actually sings a song that's used in this film, but it's also used in Kill Bill,
Yeah.
which obviously we talked about is so heavily inspired by this film. It's not even funny, dude. It's like the storyline is very similar, even though it's different in a lot of ways. But the
Hmm.
style and everything, I mean, you can
Yeah.
see almost all of Tarantino's films have drawn from this style. I mean, he has taken so much inspiration from these two movies, especially this first one. Of the
Everything we'll be reviewing on this channel is what Tarantino is nitpicked from into making an amazing movie career because most
yeah,
people have not seen it.
because people don't realize that most of his career is based off of interpreting other people's work, and he'll
He's like,
admit
I
that.
love this slasher. I love this western. I love this samurai movie. Yeah, that's the movies we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, perfect. I'm down for that, man. Anything Tarantino does is good, and you
Man,
know,
he's great. Not no rip-offs. He's just paying homage, man, making it his own. His dialogue is what separates it for sure.
100%, 100%.
What a G. Hell yeah, man. For me, performance, the lead, same shit. Can't really go on much more than that. The death stares, the like just innocent look in her eyes that shifts in like a fragment of a fucking second, kind of what you were saying, but a little different, but same ballpark. She's fucking amazing. She didn't have to say anything. It's acting without words. Love her in this movie. So good. What about kill? What was the best kill in the movie for you? Now I know this may
Okay,
be difficult.
it is. And again, something else we didn't tell each other
Yeah, but we
anything.
briefly,
We
we
don't know
put it
what we're
out
gonna
there.
say. Right,
Yeah.
exactly. We don't know what the answers are to what we're gonna say. You just know that I was having a little bit of
Yeah, you're
trouble.
struggling. You were like, I don't know for sure. I feel like I just don't have one. You're like, oh, nope, I think I got one. That's all I know.
Exactly. So I'm gonna go with one again. This is pretty obvious and cliche, but this movie kind of follows a pretty obvious and cliche route. You know, it's a, you know, same old song and dance, just kind of told from a different perspective, and it dives a little bit more into character development and the fact that, well, I'll save that for later. We'll see if that comes up first. But anyway, so my favorite kill is, and I could be wrong, but I think it's the first one that yeah, it's the first Yuki kill for sure. Well, it's or at least the first target,
Yeah.
where, you know, he's begging for his life against this crowd of people, and she saves him. But you know, and then we know, and you find out it's just to so that she can kill him, because that's
She
her
can
purpose.
kill me.
If it's not
Oh,
that,
yeah.
she doesn't want
Love
to see
that.
these people kill this guy. She wants to know that she killed him, and love it. Absolutely love that. Already off to a great start. Like we said, this is the first, maybe probably 10 minutes of the film, maybe first 8 minutes of the film, somewhere around there. And and then she just she takes him to the, like a coastline, which I love that. I love the scenery, love the cinematography of this film.
Okay. Yeah, you're talking about that where they're throwing knives at him and shit.
Yes, yeah, they're hitting
Okay.
around.
Yeah, because the
Yeah,
the first
yeah.
the first person she kills is that I mean that I'll talk about that in a second. That's actually
Okay.
spoiler alert. That goes with my I guess favorite scene. But yeah,
Ooh.
this kill is it's good, but it's good because it also sets up my favorite kill. So go on actually.
Okay.
It's weird how this
Perfect.
ties together.
I love that. Yeah, perfect. So in getting to why, yeah, like why this is my favorite kill in the scene and setting it up, and then he gets to the beach with her and he realizes that she's just gonna kill him too, and he's like begging for his life, and she's like, No, like, so
I'm
like
good.
she's just like, no, like I'm gonna kill
Yeah.
you, like I'm going to kill you. And um and the kill itself is actually kind of one of the weaker kills of
Yeah.
of the film. But what I loved about it was the setup, and you get to
Yeah.
see who the character is, who this Yuki character is, and what her motivations are, and what she really feels like. She really is unempathetic towards these people, even if she, like, her humanity kind of glimpses through for just a brief second. She's gonna continue with her task. She's gonna finish this out. Like,
Yeah.
it kind of lets you saddle up for that ride that you're going on for the rest of the movie, and that's why it's my favorite kill. And I love, uh, like like I said, just sets it all up. You get to see some blood splatter, and then when he falls in the water, and it just is just turning
Float. Kind of
red.
pans the camera back, gets a good
Yeah,
little full view of like what he's gonna get engulfed in. Like, good
I
lord.
was a little bit bothered by how long he made facial expressions as the water hit his face. That this particular actor, uh,
Yeah.
when he was supposed to be dead, I think, but it was nonetheless just like a great setup to the Yuki character, a decent kill, but just the scene, it drew it out a little bit more, where he's begging, and you see how long he begs, and he makes some decent points, and she's just still like, no. And then you get a good idea of who she is because of it, and that's why it's my favorite kill.
Yeah. Gets a little more impactful. My favorite kill is kind of like a cheat in a way. I'm kind of cheating here because it's not really a kill because the girl's already dead. When she goes on the
Oh
third
yeah.
act where she chops one chick in half, like she's dead, she hung herself, but the slicing in half and her just sitting there, but it's also the impact of going back and piggybacking off your scene by her, or your kill, I should say. I mean, same thing, but your kill, like her showcasing that it wasn't enough just to watch him die. She had to do it with her own hands and her own bare hands, almost like it's not her bare hands, but it might as well be. Like that fucking sword is like
Yeah.
her hands, like that is her weapon, that is who she is, it's a part of her. For her to not be able to do it would ruin her. She's got to be the one to do it. So to for her to come in and see the news that she hung herself, and you can see on her face just like, I'm not able to complete my mission, like this is going to haunt me. Like, yeah, she's dead, which was the goal, but I did not fucking do it with my own sword, with my own hands, and that irritates the fuck out of me. And she kind of just snaps for a quick second, slices her in half. Brutal fucking kind of kill, because it's not really a kill because she's already dead, but it's the emotion behind that, the setup of the last kill that showed you that she has to be the physical one to do it. And then just honestly, like how cool it looked, just slice. It was like, oh shit, okay, she went there with it. That is my favorite kill, even though it's technically not a kill. But
Okay.
I'm gonna
Okay.
fucking cheat with that one. Yeah.
Great choice. Yeah, that, it's funny you said, kind of not a kill. That one didn't even come to my mind because of that, but that's a good choice, man. Yeah, that's impactful, because it just shows you who the character is once again. It's something
Yeah.
that film does, and actually, as we get into the second one a little bit, I think both the films, I can say, I think safely that they both do a good job of developing this character
Oh yeah.
throughout the film, and showing you who they are, and kind of changing that, ever so slightly every now and then, just to give you a glimpse of humanity um, through like the savageness that she's
Yeah.
showing. You know, she's showing you that she's a savage, but you're getting these brief, little looks at like, oh,
Yeah.
she is a human though. She
Yeah,
is,
she's loyal. Like, she
yeah,
would fucking have your back through and through. If you don't do her wrong, she's gonna be the best person in the world to you. But if
exactly.
you fuck with her, you gotta go. Like, that's
It,
kind of what it feels like.
yeah, and we'll get into that a little bit too, like even a small slight type of thing. But anyways, okay, so what's the next topic? What do you got for us?
Favorite scene. I'll
Yeah,
just say mine real quick because I was piggybacking off of what you, well, off of what I was talking about, the actual like first kill or whatever she has when you first see her like on the snow and she's got her umbrella and she's walking up and she's walking over the snow. It's not even the kill. It's just like there's something about it that's so memorable to me.
and that
It's the
guy's
way
like,
it's
bitch.
shot. Yeah, it's like the way it's shot. She's just chill, like looks so innocent with like her umbrella, and that's like the first time we see her. Just like, oh, like something about snow is like very peaceful, and it's Lady
Yeah,
Snowblood, so it's like
especially the way they,
iconic.
especially in like Japan, and and the
Yeah,
way
it's
scenery.
just the vibes are there, just like this innocent girl in the innocent snow, and watching her turn from that, and then the guys even like, "Who are you?" And she tells them and just fucking murks them. It's not the murder, it's not the kill, it's just the setup of the scene, the cinematography. It's a beautiful moment in film to me. I love that whole opening.
In
Just
terms of
yeah.
yeah. So great, another great choice, because in terms of cinematography and like location and just camera work, that is my favorite, because it's not one of my favorites just in this movie, but when I saw it 10 years ago or however long ago, 8-10 years ago, and when I rewatched it again yesterday, it's just like one of the best scenes I've ever seen. The way it
Yeah.
looks, I rewound it. I watched the movie once, but I think I watched that scene about 5 times, like
Yeah.
yesterday.
Let me check this out again. Let me check this out again.
Yeah, I was just like watching the colors, like the lighting and everything that they like. It's just beautiful
It's,
the way it
yeah,
looks.
beautifully shot film.
But so my favorite choice, or my favorite, I think I got to go with, again. We're talking about character development, or at least showcasing who this character Yuki is. You get
Mhm.
all the kills. I think one of my favorite scenes is when they show exactly what extent she goes to. They build up throughout this whole movie, and we're going to get into why this particular scene really impacts the second film, and how I view that one.
Yeah.
Um, but when she runs the sword through both her
Oh yeah.
significant interest, I guess you would call
Yeah.
him, and his dad, uh, that scene I think is probably my favorite, just because I was like, oh,
Powerful.
okay, yeah, Yuki is that person. So I, like, talking about earlier when I said I'd come back to this, because even a small slight. So she finds out that this guy that she is starting to fall for, and he has fallen for her, that he's the son of her last target, and you see in her eyes instantly they change, and throughout the rest of the film, she never looks at him the same way. It's like
Mhm.
that was it for her. She knew, and it's not like she was like intending necessarily to kill him, but I think at the end she just realized like he was part of it for her at that point, and that
I
like,
got an interesting question to ask you though. Like,
yeah,
is it the fact that he's a part of it and she had that change of look to where she's just like, all right, fuck him now too. I'm setting him up for all this, or is she having that look because she's troubled and then like he had been shot or whatever or stat whatever the fuck happened to him at the end. I'm
he got
blanking.
he got shot like five
I'd say
times.
he got shot like 5 times, and she kind of was just like, he obviously cares for his dad, even though this is a fuck situation. And I've got to end him, and he's vulnerable right now, and I got to put him out of his misery, which she knows he's going to die, or at least thinks he's going to. And
Yeah,
we've seen her do that again. Spoiler alert for the second movie. She will put somebody out of their misery. Is it more of like that, or is she just like, I didn't really give a fuck about him anyways? Bang, take them both out. That's what I kind of think. It's not the latter. I think it's the he's gonna die. This is a tough decision, but I'm gonna murder him. Like they need to go out. They both need to go out right now.
Yeah, I feel you. I get it. That's a great take. I love that we see that two totally different ways, because for me, it was like once she did it, there was like a slight thing, like there was like a slight kind of like, like I'll miss him type of, emotion that she had.
Yeah,
But
it's interesting to think about.
Yeah, but for me, it was more so like she was just kind of like ending all of it, and then even like allowed herself to be ended right after that, like against somebody she could have easily destroyed. Just she could have thrown this girl all around the entire palace, but she just let her run up to her and stab her. And it was almost like, to me, that was kind of like the seal that she was like ending all of it. Like it was all coming full. They all had to die.
I believe that too. Like I agree with the second part of like what you said for sure.
But I still agree with you too, because
Because
like
it could work either way.
I'm like
she could even be like, well, he's dead and I had to kill him, or did I have to, like, I might as well die too. Like it works that way too. That's what makes movies so dope, dude. It's all like, subjective. Like it's objective to the filmmakers or whatever. Maybe even sometimes not even them, but it's subjective to us, and we kind of interpret it in our own ways. That's what makes these movies so special.
I agree.
All right, location for this movie, Japan. I mean, that's what I got. Pretty simple. Nothing special there. We don't have to gloss over it too much. Best unimportant scene. These are always fun. If I come up with one, I got one for this. Not important at all, but this shit had me rolling when she gets stuffed in the barrel during her training, dude. That shit is funny as fuck. When he puts her in the barrel and rolls her, kicks her down a hill, and all you see is her ponytail rolling out until she crashes, and then she shoots out onto that hill. That shit is funny as fuck, dude.
Dude, that is great.
It gets me every time. I'm like, what the fuck? And by the time I get out like the fuh of the cuh out, her ponytail's already rolling, and I'm like breaking my own sentence laughing. Like it got me again. Like I don't know why, but it's funny as hell to me. Did you have a best just unimportant stupid scene in this movie? It was just like maybe most people wouldn't even pick up on it, or just like, yeah, whatever. But to you, you're like, that was unintentionally kind of funny. Because I don't think it was meant to be funny. It's just the sign of the times, and it worked that way.
No, I kind of took like when I was viewing like unimportant scenes, like for me it was kind of like trying to think of scenes that either I felt like were out of place, or like or that possibly not that could have done without, but like I said, out of place, or like maybe could have been for like, for instance, my scene that I was thinking about was actually like the birthing scene, and her and the mom like having sex with these guards and things like that.
Yeah.
I wish that some of that origin story would have been saved for towards the later half of the film, to kind of
sometimes less is more. Like you just know that it happened.
I feel like
I dig that. That wouldn't even be bad. Like a bad gig if like you did that and I did the other version. Because like for me, like every time I've done unimportant scenes, I do scenes that just like most people don't give a fuck about these, but I find a way to. But you could also like do the other half of it, just like this scene didn't need to be in the movie, and we could interwoven those in together, however you want to say it.
Saying that like a lot, like, ooh, didn't need that scene, or like,
why was that there? And then I might even be like, "What? That's my favorite fucking scene. That was literally, you heard it. It was my favorite scene." Like pointing at my pad all aggressively.
Yeah, I would, but exactly. I just think, I just think that it was a little bit too linear. Like it was just too much. Like you knew exactly what was happening, what was going to happen.
I can feel that,
but I'm
It
not
didn't do
taking
that for me,
film.
but I'm neutral on your take. Like I could have done without it too. Like it didn't have to be in the film.
Yeah, and even if it was like I like that I like the scenes and I like that it was in the film. I kind of wish that they would have saved
Yeah.
parts of her origin, like where did she come from, like who's her mom and stuff like that. Like little parts, like maybe save it for like reveal.
Snippets.
But so that's I just feel like there's a more like out of place or maybe just you
Hell
know
yeah, man.
the way the story's told. It's told so much like and loyal to the comic, the manga series, that it's a little bit too linear for movies, in my opinion.
I could see that. What about dumbest or cringiest moment? For
Ooh,
me, I gotta go kind of a mixture of both, I guess. How good was that mask at the end of the movie? Like when
yeah,
motherfucker, they thought they killed him, they thought it was over, and they're like, he's like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. And they start peeling the face off, and it's a completely different guy. It was
yeah,
like, bro, like really, like that is a quality ass mask of all time in 1973 as well. Which like there's no way. Like it just looked ridiculous for them to take that mask. That's all I could think about. It was like, do I hate it? Do I really think it? Like I was like, it's dumb. That's fucking cringy. Did I feel like that? No. Like I was like, fuck yeah, some James Bond type stupid. Like it's one of those things more or less that I was like, that's kind of funny. Like really, they did that. It worked for me, but it was kind of dumb. It was kind of cringy. Like, oh, you have an exact replica of your face that fits perfectly over this other person's face. That was kind of ridiculous. I don't know if you
yeah.
had anything on that, but
I agree with yours. That was kind of one of the ones for me. I was kind of like, okay, it felt really out of place in this universe,
yeah,
especially like it just kind of felt out of the blue. It felt like a just like one of those lazy type of twists, and it wasn't
debatably made you not see it coming though.
exactly, and it just wasn't needed either. Like it
Yeah,
was unnecessary in a way. So maybe that was kind of one of that could also be an unimportant scene in a way.
yeah,
But for me, it's more so just like something that happens throughout the film. So this film has really good choreography, in my opinion, for
for its
the act.
time for sure.
Exactly for 1974, right? Is it for three?
73 for this one.
Yep, 73. So and you've got like a musician actress who's doing anime style stuff, and it obviously with a stunt double. But I mean, I'm just saying, you've got these well choreographed moves, but every now and then you'll get these really weird like angles or like the camera will shake, and it's like they in editing didn't have enough good footage, so they had to throw some little crappy bits in there, and it happens throughout the film, and that's kind of what I would choose for cringiest is that it just seems like maybe because of budget, I don't know, maybe because of time constraints, I'm not exactly sure, but it just seems like what's a really good movie is just very randomly kind of broken up with these little like just almost like B-roll type moments that they seem to
Annoyances.
try to stitch in there. Yeah.
I can dig that, no doubt. And we are on to goofs.
All
Are
right.
you ready for goofs, sir?
I'm ready. Okay. So, first one. This film is set in the late 19th century. However, during the masquerade party, there are various modern day flags on display, including but not limited to Pakistan, which was created in 1947, Australia, created in 1901, and the 50-star flag of the United States that was not introduced until 1960. So
Mm.
that's goof number one. Goof number two, the revolver
Nice.
that Gishiro fires at Yuki is a Webley, which is capable of holding but 6 rounds, and Gishiro fires 7 rounds without reloading. So one extra bullet. Gishiro is a magic man. Uh, and last one. Okay, it says flakes of snow do not melt despite landing on warm skin or blood. Um,
I've
Now,
experienced this in real life. Killed a lot of people. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, that's that's the problem with Goose, man. I love them. We got to keep them, but a lot of times it's just like, damn, I thought they'd be better. It's always like that, but that's why
the
we
first
save
couple,
them.
yeah, the first two were good. I thought the first two were good. That one's weak.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Hello. You back?
that was weird. Okay.
That was
Uh,
weird. I'm back. All right. I was
so
about to text you.
that one's weird for me too because like snow would definitely melt on warm blood.
I would think.
Definitely.
I don't know. Would
I
it
mean,
not? Why? How? Like warm blood preserves snowflakes. So like, if I just put like blood, but I
there's
guess once
no
that goes away, it would. I don't know. That's a weird one. We have to test
no.
it.
What does hot piss do to snow?
You know,
Melts it
it gets
instantly.
rid of it. You
It
know.
just melts it, disintegrates it. That is what it would do.
But this is blood, not piss. Unless it's like bloody piss. I don't know what you got going on, but I ain't gonna do
You don't want to know, and neither do the people.
it. Don't want to know. Yeah, I don't know, man. I've never tried it, but
I
it seems like it would melt
Are we gonna have to kill somebody next winter?
probably, and I
Ah,
prefer to do it with icicles so the evidence melts. So it's that time of the year. It's perfect. All
perfect.
right,
Road trip.
shit, I'm here for it. So that's all the goofs.
That's all the goose. That's all they got on here. Obviously, a low budget film that doesn't get the respect it deserves, so it's probably not got a lot of people,
Bam.
looking for goofs and stuff like that to post. But I
Sweet.
that's all we got. Just three. Yep, that's it.
We give what we got. All right, deleted scenes. I did not have any, and of
Four there
course,
are
quick
apparently.
shout out. I don't have any on either. Lady Snowblood. If you want to buy this is the first and second one. $28 on Amazon right now. Looked it up for you peeps on Blu-ray. Worth the purchase. No deleted scenes though. Did the ending deliver? Dun dun dun.
You asking me? Oh,
Are you
uh,
asking me? Yeah, I'm
yes,
asking you.
yeah,
Yes, yes, yes,
yeah,
yes, bitch, yes.
yeah.
I'm here
The ending.
for it.
So we talked about a little bit towards the end where there's the face reveal and everything, and it was kind of like, okay, we didn't need all that, but in
Still
terms,
liked it though.
yeah, right, and
Even
but
though
but
it's dumb, I liked it for some reason
I
because that's
did
how we
like
watch these movies.
I didn't mind it, and we'll get to like my rating, and everything in the film and in a minute and everything. So like, but like, I don't know, the end for me was one of the best parts of the film, just because, like I told you earlier, like my
As
favorite
it
scene,
should be.
she runs the sword through them both. So you get the climactic part of the character development,
The
uh,
mirror.
and then you get her falling down the snow at the end, and then it ends. And I
Ooh.
thought that was amazing. I loved it. And then I was thinking, how is there a sequel? We'll get into that in a second, but that is I mean, yeah, the ending definitely delivered for me, at least. I mean, in pretty much every way. I mean, I just, I mean, for this character Yuki, for who we see her born as, trained as, what we see her do throughout the entire film, and then the end, and I was like, yeah, perfect. That was great.
Yeah, everything you just said, the whole fucking final shebang where she's murdering people up in that like palace type atmosphere and she's just fucking
Yeah,
slicing them dudes behind the mirror, which makes no sense because she breaks the mirror as if to find them and he literally runs out like, I'm here, and then runs back when he could have not done that. He could already got a head fucking start. It's
exactly.
still, it's fucking dope. I love every second of the ending of this movie.
Anime
And
stuff, man.
if
Stuff.
they didn't make a sequel, sometimes like I'm not gonna say I dislike the sequel, love the sequel, whatever. But it's one of those movies that makes you wonder, like, was it better off since they didn't do multiple sequels, just as like a one-off, like more impactful? Because the way this ended was just like, damn, she went out like that, like a
I
G.
know.
It was
Well,
great. It was
right.
great. I love the ending.
Yeah.
Good shit. No way around it. All right, now we got Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb scores. IMDb, which is more of, just normal person type of entries, 7.6 out of 10. That's solid as fuck. That's gonna be like one of the higher scores we get on this channel for the stupid shit that we
Yes.
be watching.
Exactly. Exactly.
How about Rotten Tomatoes with 100% on Rotten Tomatoes?
I'm not too surprised.
That's unreal. It is only 8 reviews, but it's unreal. I'll read
I'm not,
like
because it
4.
is a critics type of film. Just and you can tell that by the inspiration that we see today. I bet most of those Rotten Tomato reviews are not people who saw it when it first came out, but people who
No, I'm
so
sure
saw the
not.
films inspired by it and ran to it.
Yeah. One guy says Lady Snowblood only half-heartedly revels in its heroine's bloody revenge while focusing just as much on the tragedy of her circumstances and the absurdity of her vengeful fate. Another person says unspools images that are as evocative as the movie's title. Another person says more than just a bloody revenge movie, though it certainly is that a number of thematic strands of political critiques run beneath Pulp's surface. And another person says a violent cult film that maintains in its undercurrent a sly humor and a feeling that this is a special revenge film. I'll just read half of them since there's so many. Very good shit. Rotten Tomatoes is loving it. What about our personal scores?
Okay. Well, it's hard for me to comment on like the political underlying tones of the film just because I'm not super familiar with the time.
Japan.
Yeah. You know,
Not super familiar with Japan. Yeah. Honestly, I've never thought that while watching it. You back?
Yeah, I don't know why that keeps happening.
Oh well, we're back in it.
Okay. At least it's always happening in decent spots. So let me think. We were okay. So getting to scores. Okay.
You're doing your score. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So okay. So my personal scores for the film. I don't know a whole lot about the politics of Japan for the time. I know quite a bit about history, and I study a lot of history through college, and kind of plan on finishing my degree, and it's actually in history. But
Hell yeah, I didn't even know that.
Really, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I didn't really pay attention to that aspect of this particular film. I just was watching it more for the samurai.
Me neither.
Let's see what there's going to be aspect of it. But
right.
And once again, I'm seeing this, from a critical type of perspective in the year 2023, and knowing what films it's influenced, who it's influenced, and stuff like that. And I don't know if I've become biased or whatever, but I did give this film a really high score. I give Lady Snowblood, the first one, 9.2.
A 9.2?
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's a heater score right there. That's what I like to hear. For me, loved it. For me, this is a 8.7 out of 10.
Nice.
I absolutely love this movie.
I think this might be the first time ever that I've scored one higher than you.
Maybe. I don't know.
I've always been low. I've definitely always been on that lower scale.
Yeah. You like to go low. So that means you fuck with you don't just fuck with this movie. You fuck with this movie.
And the advice you just gave to everybody, I'm gonna be following that.
You're gonna be on that bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this movie, it doesn't get old. I've seen it numerous times. It's so much fun in a weird kind of way. And it's not really a fun movie, but it's fun to me because I'm a weird fuck. It's it's just a blast. I have a great time with it. I love the fucking cinematography. I love the crazy blood spitting out that is just insane. I love the lead actress. I love really all the, everybody else kind of falls by the wayside. Like there's a couple people here and there, but it's all about her. But all those other people do pretty good. Everything's good. Like there's nothing wrong with this movie really at all. It's just if we've seen the revenge story before a million times, but this one still somehow kind of stands on its own. If you're somebody that is just like, I don't want to read subtitles or that kind of thing, if you're into this type of movie, start reading, man. It's important.
I agree. Yeah, like you're missing out. Like
Do it.
it's
good.
not hard to just glance at the subtitle box every now and then, and enjoy these films, honestly, and my favorite films, most of my favorite films of all time come from Japan or South Korea, and I watch subtitles.
Half the movies I watch are in another language. People are just missing out.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
Let's talk about Lady Snowblood 2.
Yeah. I think this one is going to be one, we get the general, like premise of the films. This one might be a little easier to go through.
Probably. You got the plot?
Yeah, starting with the plot. This is a little bit simpler of a film, in my opinion, but the plot sounds more complicated. So it says, to avoid a death sentence for prior acts of bloodshed, the vengeful swordswoman, Lady Snowblood, is conscripted by the Japanese secret police to assassinate political dissidents. That's a very, very specific plot as opposed to the one I read for the first one.
But yeah,
she
went to go basically tail and watch one guy, and then she has to turn around. It's like, oh, she's turned on it. She's with that guy now. Type of plot. Yeah, I mean,
it's not
cool.
It sounds like it's this big, like large scale operation, like James Bond style thing, and it's just absolutely not. It's very, very simple, and in fact, simple of a plot. So don't let that deceive you into thinking that they really upped the intelligence of the film.
Yeah, no, like I was about to actually kind of sound like if you're a more basic mind, like you know what I mean though. Some people just like turning their brain off and watching some silly shit. Like what are we doing here? We got all this going on. There's not really much more going on. You can follow it. It's cool.
Yeah.
Good deal. Runtime. Hour and 29 minutes. Shrunk the runtime. No problem with that for a sequel. Movie year, 1 year later. This one came out the year that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out. I don't know why I keep giving Texas Chainsaw Massacre a shout out, but we're going to keep doing it. Awards and noms. It's looking like nothing still. So let's jump into performances.
All right.
Did it stay true? Is it still the lead? Is the lead still your favorite performance?
This one is a little bit more complicated because she takes more of a backseat in the main story of the film, like in terms of the development of the plot and everything.
I can give you that.
And also, I will say that I don't like her character as much in this film. She's nicer, she's sweeter, she's softer, which is not, to see in any character, any hero. That's what you want to see if it's a Marvel movie. But this is she's vengeance.
She is vengeance. She's Batman.
She's the kill. She's the murderous Batman of the samurai world. But you don't get that in this movie, and that's kind of why with the end of the last one, I don't understand how this movie went this direction. It's just like I felt like it would go darker with what happened to her, what she had to do, what she decided was worth it, and that she was like, oh, it's over, and then she thought she was going to die and she didn't. I just felt like that this was like perfect for her to just go full, just I don't give a fuck about anything.
It would have been, but this is also where we kind of interpret the character different too. Is like kind of how I was started off with, just like she's the shit if you're loyal to her, but if you've turned your back on her, she's not going to give a fuck. Also, that came back full circle where we talked about at the end of the movie is like, I kind of felt like she was just like, well, fuck him from that point on, kill him and his dad. And I kind of was just like, she kind of like maybe was still feeling something like, and then she kind of grew a little bit more of a heart going into the second film. And now, like, she's still that evil bitch when she has to be, like, at the end of the movie when she's fucking everybody up,
Uh-huh.
taking shots and everything. But she's going to still be a good person for the right people. So again, it's all on how you interpret it. That could be a character flaw, or it could be like, well, hey, like I'm looking at it like I am. Neither one of us is right. Well, maybe one of us is.
Yeah.
If we talk to the actual director, let's fucking get him on here. But yeah, I don't know. It's fun. It's funny how that works the way we interpret film. But yeah, I didn't necessarily get that as much, but I do see where you're coming from at the same time.
Yeah, and I see, like always, I don't think that you've ever said anything that I did like that you didn't make me understand. And I'm like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
I definitely see that side. But I feel like
Samesies, brother.
they're a little bit more evenly distributed in this film. I think it's harder to decide anyone that stands out. I feel like a lot of the extras and side characters did a lot better job in this movie.
Yeah,
Uh,
I can see that.
but there's really nobody that, like, even when I was thinking about it, that stood out to me. I think that obviously probably the most talented is, however you say it, Mieko Kaji.
I don't know how
Yuki.
to say these names either, man.
I know Yuki. I think she's probably the most talented. I think I'd probably still pick her.
Yuki's
Like,
still probably she's taking a step down. For me, I chose the guy that was getting tortured. I think he did the best job, like
yeah,
overall.
yeah. See what I'm saying? Yeah, there's a lot of like people like that throughout the movie that they just really
Yeah.
it, they do a better job than a lot of the people that have dialogue. A lot more dialogue.
Mhm.
That so
I think it's kind of like a cheat code type of thing anyway. I think I'd
yeah,
still would give Yuki like a little bit of a leg up, but the fact that
I
she took like a little bit of a step down, because even though I said what I said, I still liked her more as just full on vengeance, vengeful badass. And I would have preferred her to go into full on crazy territory. Maybe she cooled off as more movies went on, but we didn't get more movies. So for the sake of doing something a little different, I kind of like that character. Like you thought she was gonna be there to like kill him, and then like they kind of formed a friendship, and then like him not ratting or anything like that. Whole thing, like I ended up kind of enjoying his overall performance. I think that
yeah,
I'll give him a shout out on that
yeah,
one.
yeah.
What
I
about Kill?
man,
Tough on this one too.
gosh, yeah.
It's tough for
See,
me as well.
it's like this is it's kind of like it's the exact same thing as with the first one. It's like there are so many kills. They're all pretty similar.
Yeah,
Um, it's just in a horror movie, it's like you think you've got this idea that there's maybe more kills, or like because it's horror and it's about killing or whatever, blah blah blah. But it's actually you have far fewer kills to pick from, and they try to do them in a variety of ways. Whereas this is a samurai movie, and she's just cutting people pretty much, and so it's
yeah,
a little bit harder for me to choose. For me, it's more about like camera angles and stuff, and like in the way they shoot kills in these types of movies. For example, a movie that this movie reminds me of highly is Izumi, uh,
yeah,
where and they do like a really cool like spin around this board, and this guy standing there with the sword, things like that. So really any time throughout this movie and the first one, my favorite kills are just when they do something unique with the camera angles. So I could probably pick 4 to 5 different kills in this movie, honestly, that stand out to me as like my favorite. Whereas in the first one, it was more of an emotional thing or a character development thing with the first
yeah.
or the kill, and me choosing that. For me,
I
I'm
get
gonna
that.
safeguard in this film and say that since it's a little bit simpler for me in terms of the plot and what's going on for the story, I think it's more just so about how are they showing these kills, because they're all pretty similar. How is the camera, how's the lighting, what's the scenery, that sort of thing.
I feel that. Yeah, for me, it's gonna be funny because like later on, I'm gonna kind of almost like contradict myself. But probably like the only reason I had a harder time with this one. There was like a couple kills in the first one that I was just like, that's my favorite. No, that's my favorite. Or is that my favorite? This one, they all kind of blended together a little more. Not that there wasn't, good kills. There was some good moments. But I just went with like the shotgun kill where the guy was shooting at her with a shotgun and then she ended up getting the shotgun back. The guy lost his eyeballs and then she shot him
Yeah.
again. Just from the standpoint that it was
That,
fucking cool as shit to see like Lady Snowblood like blow dude away with a shotgun. Like for
yeah,
that lone reason, that one out for me. Scene, I'll just go ahead and go on that. For me, the scene was honestly like when she got shot and she like kind of leaped off the bridge into the water and then like came looking for whatever the fuck's his name. I'm not gonna remember it off the top of my head. She's looking to heal and she found her, like our girl led her to him and this doctor or whatever later in the bed. She was good to go, like she was healing, but like her eyes were open and she like wasn't blinking, almost like she was dead. She even like had her arms across like this, like she was fucking like she looked like she was in a fucking casket.
yeah,
But like her eyes weren't blinking, but it wasn't like she was dead necessarily. It was more like my eyes are on the prize. Like I'm just like looking into the fucking distance and I'm like, I know what the fuck I gotta do. And then that, all culminated in her just, you still were kind of just like, oh, eyes on the prize, that's all she's doing. And then I know where she's like tosses a knife into the fucking ceiling. And there's a guy on the fucking roof because you see blood come through. It looks like she's on
yeah.
like a bunk bed or something. You're like, where the
So
fuck is
cool.
that blood come from? And then he rolls off and falls off. And it was just that whole scene was just like that's her right there. That's the eyes. That's the like not the talking. That's the fucking like locked in fucking Yuki that I love. Like I love that particular scene, I guess. Something about that scene kind of, I guess, reminisces me of like the first one the most. Just because like in that moment I'm locked in with her. I'm just like she's healing right now, but she's gonna be back. Like I love that scene. That would probably be my favorite scene.
Yeah, great choice, man. It's funny. I got actually have favorite scene, part 2 written down here, and I have a dash, and it says shotgun scene. So that's
Boom.
my favorite scene is actually when she kills the guy with the shotgun. I just like it's funny. I don't know why I didn't pick that as my favorite kill. I think it's probably because it's with a shotgun and not with a sword. And I have a hard time picking
Differentiating that.
favorite samurai type of like there was a thought
Yeah,
process kind of went behind that where I was like, not
I get
it's
that.
definitely my favorite kill, but like I told you earlier, like I just love when they do something different, and when they did that, and it is a different type of kill, and the whole scene in general, like the way they shoot it's choreographed and everything, it's very fluid. It's almost kind of like John Wick, like get some kind of John Wick vibes in that moment. And so I enjoyed that. That's actually my favorite scene of the film. But I again, it's so different than the first film, and it's harder, kind of like you said, it's almost harder for me to choose specific things, because one thing, if it does a lot of things maybe worse, if we get into that, maybe worse than the first one. One thing it does better than the first one is flow. The movie flows really well, and it's kind of like harder for me to discern one part from the other, because it's just
See, I'm opposite on that actually.
really,
But
we do
I
this
feel
all
like
this is why we do such good content.
the beginning flows really well because it just jumps you into like two action scenes, and then the middle kind of comes to a dead stop, and then we
Yeah,
finally get one last action scene. But like the first one was like action scene, kind of little dialogue, action scene, kind of little dialogue, and you think it's the end, but it's like, oh, bonus content, little dialogue, and then action scene. It just was kind of like dialogue, action scene, dialogue, action scene. It was all interesting. This one was kind of just like two, like, oh shit, it's gonna be action packed, and then it was kind of like dead stop with like some boring little action here and there, and then the final battle. Like for me, this one opposite actually. It kind of hurt with the pacing, but like initially, like when it kicked off, because I've only seen the second one maybe like 3 times, maybe 4 after like tonight. And I was just like, like I
Twice.
forget like how good the like this is just like it's out the gates. Let's go. Like I'm in it. But like as it went on, I was like, yeah, it's kind of like I don't know, it doesn't flow right to me like the first one.
That's
But
funny. Yeah,
funny how that works.
it is.
Location on set. This is assuming Japan as well. They didn't really say anything that I saw online. I mean, it's pretty safe to assume. Best unimportant scene. When Snowblood, the best way I can say it was yeeted over the bridge. Like this scene had me fucking rolling for some reason, dude. Because like she got shot and she crawled over the bridge and it looked like she was gonna like fall over, but instead she like did like a full on flip. Like she didn't actually do that. She didn't do 3 flips, but she flipped, not like she went like she went up, dude.
It was pretty crazy.
It looked like I don't know, like it almost looked like CGI because in the water splash, but I don't know if maybe like she had like a crane or something attached to her hips and it made her flip super fast as inhumanly possible. It cracks me up. I was like, oh shit, because like it's not. She goes to the bridge and you're like, is she gonna fall over? And like, oh, there she goes, she's gone. It's so quick that like it's one of those just like older movie, like the fucking ponytail fucking in the barrel. Like it made me laugh. I really liked it. Most people might just watch the scene like, oh, okay, me, unimportant scene, cracks me up. I enjoyed it. You have one?
Yeah, honestly, this is one that like when I watched it, I had a harder time again, like finding something that I could specifically pick out. Now on the last couple questions, I do have some answers, but on this one, it's kind of, this is a movie that has an hour and 29-minute runtime, and like your choices are kind of more reflective on like you said, like the ponytail and the over flipping, and mine's more on like what's out of place, or maybe what didn't need to be there, and I didn't really see much of that in this film. I think that. It's kind of a flash of a movie. The first one was too. They're just movies that are just kind of like, oh, it's over. And there's only
flow.
Do that, and I think that it takes a short runtime and a good pacing to do both of those things, and to do that, it takes really good editing. So I hate to say that in what I've used so far in my line of judgment for unimportant scene, there's not really one, but I'm gonna start. I'll keep doing this, but I'm also gonna start trying to look for the same criteria you do, because I think that there's
It's
definitely
fun to look for the ones just like that means nothing to nobody else probably, but this scene for some reason hits me a certain way.
Perfect. Yeah. So I'll definitely try to look out for some of that stuff too. But yeah, this one was more of just like, it was even shorter, and it was like I told you, unlike your opinion, for me it flowed a little bit better. So for me it was just over in a flash, not really anything unimportant in my opinion. But we get to cringy, I do have an opinion of that one.
Hell yeah, dude. Okay. So that's the unimportant scene. Dumbest or cringiest scene. For me, when she threw the fire poker at old One Eye, this guy was my favorite kill. He got fucking shot with the shotgun. And again, I actually liked this scene. Like it didn't bother me, but objectively, I was like, that's fucking dumb as fuck. Because like she threw this fire poker at him, and it literally like it went past his hand by like, I mean, like this much. And he grabbed his eye. And it was like that did not hit his eye. Like I get he lost one eye with the key. He did not lose his other eye. Like he did not do it. I just watched it.
What you're talking about. I know exactly what part you're talking about.
It was like 5 feet off. It was like this isn't even close. And like, but for me, again, it's another thing since I'm enjoying the movie. I'm just like, Oh, that's fucking stupid. But like, it's there's a difference in these things. Sometimes you see that shit and you're like, oh, that's fucking stupid, and you're laughing. And there's other times you see it and you're like, that's fucking stupid. God damn, dude, is this movie getting any worse? Like, it worked in the other way for me, but for dumb Mr. Grinch, like that was dumb as fuck. So I had to write that down. Thought it was pretty good.
That's a great.
Goofs. Do you have those ready?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'll get my cringy scene real quick.
Oh yeah, you gotta give your cringy one. This is different because when I used to do a similar thing on Box Office Banner, and like we each had our own little thing, but since
Oh
there's
yeah,
only
I know.
two of us, it works where we can kind of both spitball, both things.
Yeah,
So that's cool.
we got like
Go
10
ahead,
minutes
man.
left on recording. I just wanted to let you know real quick. But
Oh yeah, we're about done.
okay, so yeah, okay, so for cringy for me again, this comes down more to like a concept, more than a specific scene, especially for these films. Usually, I'm really good about being able to pick out like a cringy scene or a cringy moment, and I'm like, oh god, like definitely could have done without that facial expression or that line or something. But for this, for me, it's the choreography, which is something that really kind of
Mm.
me. In this one, I felt like she wasn't a believable badass as much in the sword fighting. It was the way it was shot. So for me, it was a lot of the little baddies that run around that she slices down. A lot of those were pretty cringy for me, just because it was just not believable as much as the way that they shot the first one.
I can see that for sure. I definitely prefer the first one's choreography. Do you have the goofs ready?
The goofs, I got it, man. Okay, so
Hell yeah.
uh there are four here, and I'm going to go ahead and read them. I was going to just read three to keep it fair, but since there's only one extra, I'm going to go ahead and read it too. So, okay. And I did read through these a little bit. There's a couple good ones. This one, at one point, a man fires multiple rounds at Yuki from a sawed-off shotgun. However, without reloading, he fires many more rounds than a shotgun of that size can hold. It says in that magazine. But however, that shotgun doesn't have a magazine, but still,
Yeah,
yes, a goof. Uh,
definitely a goof.
this says when Shusuke kills Kikui, Kikui's body falls to the stairs, but in the next scene, there's nothing in the stairs. But the next scene, again, there's a body in the stairs. So continuity issue there with a body not being there that could have been being there again. We see this
Right.
a lot, these low budget films, especially sequels. um, crew or equipment visible. This says in the final battle when Shisuke kills Kikui, we can see the hat of somebody of the crew. I did not notice that.
I didn't either, honestly.
Now I did notice, the shotgun going off a few times. I did not notice the body or the hat. And then the last one says the revealing mistakes. It says when Rensui and Yuki, aka Lady Snowblood, kill His Excellency, you can clearly see a line going out of his right pants into the ground. This is obviously how the shedding blood is piped up into the chest, spraying out. Again, didn't notice that. I probably would have thought it was a grease set he got pants starts. You know.
Not
So
that
this
bad.
thing because
We had
this was
more goofs this time than the last time, at
like
least.
yeah. But I've only seen them each twice, so I kind of go back. Like this makes it more interesting. I could go back and look for these goofs and watch the film with commentary. That's something I would love to do. Both of these, but that's why
Yeah,
I'm Criterion Collection.
I'm telling you that's the one thing. It doesn't have any deleted scenes, obviously, which is literally the next thing. Deleted scenes? Nope. Once
Nope.
again, nope. So we can go ahead and mark that off. But it does have multiple interviews. I don't know about commentaries. I really didn't look at that. I guess I could real quick, but that's gonna take up time. Look it up. It's on Amazon, but it does have interviews. Did the ending deliver though?
um. It's a little bit softer of a yes than the first one, but yeah, I would say yes again.
Yeah, I had to think about it too, but it
Any
does.
type of anime style movie finale. It seems like it's something they do, quite a good job of. But for me, in the end, I was left a little unsatisfied just because I didn't feel like it was as good of a follow up as it could have been. It just kind of took a completely different direction too soon. Franchises can do that, but to do it in the second one, a little bit soon for me. And it just kind of took away from the character, and I think it probably is part of the reason that it didn't turn into a bigger franchise. I think that
we talked about that for sure.
A year later instead of 4 years later.
Hell yeah, man. Good deal. Yeah, I'm on the same wavelength though, for real. Like, I'm hesitant to say it did, but at the same time, I did enjoy the final little battle that they had where it showed one dude on the steps, which is another like actually kind of funny moment for me because he had the paper and he was like he looked dead. They had put like the white makeup they put on like the girls to make him look hot or whatever, to make him look like he was about to die, which I guess makes the women look hot. Made him look like he was about to die, but makes the women look hot. It's a weird makeup choice how that works for both. But he was just like with whatever the fuck he was waving.
Yeah.
And it was just, I don't know. That was like a chuckle. Like, that looks kind of dumb, but it's funny. And then it was like, oh shit, Lady Snowblood's here. And then she fucking chops dude's arm off, which I forgot to even say about that. That was fucking hilarious. Dude, like, had to chop his arm off to like get free or whatever the fuck he did. And then like 2 seconds later, motherfucker pulled up to the same village on a horse with a missing arm. And he chucks one dude that got tortured over the fence with a missing arm the next day. That was just a funny visual. I love that.
That was good.
Yeah, that was great. But the ending, I mean, watching her fuck up all those people with her little comrade, like it was cool. It was fine. She had to sacrifice him, which we kind of talked about in the first movie, how she can sacrifice people if she needs to, which is obvious. You probably could figure that much. Pretty good shit. I like the ending overall. It was good. Well, dude was picking different points to shoot her. It was fine. Not too bad.
What do you rate the movie?
What do I rate the movie? That's interesting. I rate the movie a 7.2 out of 10.
Nice.
That's what I got to give it. It's good. It's not as great as the last one, but I do still think it's really good, but it's not to the point where I think it's good enough to where I necessarily think it deserved a sequel. If they had multiple ones that were kind of on this level, yeah, but if you're just going to have one sequel, it's just kind of like, yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's worth it. The impact of the ending of the last one might have been more worth it.
See, that's kind of where I lie. I think that if they would have waited a couple more years, the first movie would have had a bigger impact and it could have turned into a franchise. But instead, the following year, they go ahead and make a softer version of the film after the first one had such a dark impact and she dies supposedly. So it just felt really kind of almost lame in a way. Like, good movie, great standalone movie. Just for me, it was. Its biggest fault was that it came out so soon after the first one, I think. And it gets a 7.8 still, though.
Oh, so you're higher on this one, too, than me.
Yeah. It's a great movie. I think it would probably maybe be in the 8s if it wasn't for the first one.
Yeah, made you think twice. IMDb gave it a 6.3 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 66%. I'm rounding up because there's only 3 reviews. 2 out of 3 gave it a fresh score. The fresh score said that the second film, Love Song, does not match its predecessor, only shows that sequels are seldom equal. It is still a good view. However, the other fresh score said 70 Samurai action mixes drama and historical relevance with the mostly two-dimensional villains and wholesale slaughter that you'd expect from a good chopsaki film. And the one bad review said a decidedly different kind of film than its predecessor, and unfortunately not as good.
I think every single one of those reviews is fair.
Yeah, I can't hate on it. I really can't. I did have some trivia. I know we need to go soon, though. We pretty much covered everything. Like there's certain things on trivia that we already said. I mean, there was a nickname she had. I was gonna say I don't even know how to pronounce it. Shirai Yuki Haim, which means Carnage Snow Princess or White Snow
Ooh,
Princess.
actually, I like that, but it's always you're right. It's kind of hard to do trivia on, especially on the foreign films, just because it's like we don't know a lot about what's going on, especially behind the
Yeah,
scenes. Like even how to say what's going on behind the scenes.
yeah. Or what you said about how Tarantino used the song in his film. I don't know if it's the same song with a different name, but the Flower of Carnage is on the Kill Bill soundtrack that is played by the girl. Maybe that's like the English name or what the
Yeah,
fuck ever. Played by the same girl that was on that. I thought maybe she made that specifically for the film, but that's the same girl that plays Yuki, Lady
yeah,
Snowblood. And then
right.
also
Yeah.
something dumb, Toshiya Fujita. I don't know how to say his name. This is not like his MO. Like this was not his thing. He did not make movies like this. This was kind of
Wow.
just like he kept this was like an oddball type of films to make for him. So
That
I thought that was kind of cool.
one as well. He did the first one.
Yeah. I don't really know shit about his other films, to be honest, but according to this, it's not his type of films. And the other
Wow.
thing I said that I was supposed to say that I already kind of covered, but it was supposed to break before I covered it was that she was a singer, and we kind of touched on that as well because she was a
Yeah.
really good singer, apparently. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it. That's
Man,
it.
two tremendous films where your sequel that is sometimes maybe unfairly hated on, but nonetheless, discussed,
It was good.
gets a
Good
7.2,
sequel.
7.8. So I mean, solid. I think everybody should check both of them out. Criterion is my favorite physical copy collection, so I think that Brandon's spot on. Go get that at Amazon. And
$27. That's it. 26.49, I think is what it is. I round it up.
perfect,
It's
perfect.
like
Well,
14 bucks a movie, dude. Come on now.
we'll get discussing what's going to be next. We've got, obviously we don't know exactly when this is going to be uploaded, when you're seeing this, but we definitely appreciate everybody tuning in.
Yeah, no
You
doubt.
of talking about these kinds of films is why we kind of started collaborating and then decided to just make this entire thing. And we just now are getting this going. So if you guys would like the video, give us ideas, tips, and pointers in the comment section, and share it on social media and with your friends. And we really enjoy doing this, but it always helps to get that support.
Amen.
Awesome. Hey, well, thanks, guys. Well, and we'll see you next time.